That's what I'm talking about.
The plastic cup?
Yeah.
What happens if you bang the plastic with it? It's fun.
You got stuck at that. Yeah. They were telling us last
I got to meet Andrei because he came to my church to become the new church organist. And I remember being in the car with our friend Elijah at one point, probably about 4 months after we started hanging out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad Andrei's a part of our group of friends now."
Some Russian guy, I heard, was living in Amy's house. So I would hang out with Dan and Amy, and every once in a while, Amy or Dan would bring up something about this guy who lived in the house named Andrei. And I thought he was like 36 by the way they talked about him. Then I met him, and there was a face to this mystery 36-year-old man who ended up not being 36, but still mysterious.
He's a weird guy, but not in a bad way weird guy. He's a good way weird guy.
He's so like, meticulous, and like he's not content just to be like, oh, this is a nice cigarette. Like, he wants to try and figure out exactly what about the cigarette is so nice, and exactly why this vodka is better than another. So that he ends up having sort of like strong opinions about things that most people don't think at all about. Like he only likes certain bagels, and like in the morning, like as far as I know, I think every morning he eats a bagel with slices of cheese and some sort of strawberry preserve on it, just because through his research that he's come to believe that is just the finest breakfast that a man can have.
We went shopping for loafers. We probably went to 10 or more stores, and he had been to more before that. He finally found a good pair, and he tries on his shoes, and he's like, "Oh, we gotta go back. Do you guys mind? We gotta go back." We went back. He exchanged just one of the shoes because it didn't fit him right to get another shoe. He's real particular about his feet.
But every week he'd be like, "Oh, will you just go with me quick? I gotta bring these socks back." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "They're not 100% cotton." And I was always like, "Andrei, they're just gonna laugh at you when you try and return these open socks without a receipt for the third time." And he's like, "No, why wouldn't they? Why would they laugh at me?" And I was like, "'Cause that's just weird. Just don't do it, Andrei. Just keep the socks." And they didn't laugh at him, so I think I might be the weird one in this instance.
He expects for some reason that other people take things as seriously as he does. So like he'll just like torture a waitress, like asking her like, "What's in this sauce? Like what's it made of? Like where's it from?"
Have you ever seen that Rocky with the big Russian guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how all Russians are, is what I figure from knowing Andrei. Because Andrei's always like biking, swimming, whatevering.
Or even when he plays the piano, it's kind of like you're using your whole body. It's something really physical. So I guess that's why it's good that he's a piano player, because it's like a really physical instrument, you know?
Браво! Браво! Ну, я не ожидал, что так хорошо играет. Не ожидал, действительно.
When Andrei was quite young, he must have been about 11 years old, he came to my studio to play for me. And at that time he played quite well, and so I said, you know, just keep up the hard work, and when you're ready for college, contact me. And that's exactly what he did.
I think he initiated the first contact, if I remember correctly, coming up and just asking me about the major. At that time it was called movement science. It's now kinesiology.
You know, when he auditioned for the department, he played some pretty difficult works. He played this one Chopin Etude, Opus 10 No. 1 in C major. It's a legendarily difficult piece, and he absolutely nailed it. I mean, he played so beautifully. I mean, I was shocked how well he played it.
He had questions about absolutely every aspect of how he did things as a pianist.
Very unusual questions about how, when I play, you know, exactly what is the angle of my wrist to the keyboard. And
he had a videotape of this guy performing, and there's a certain piece that Andrei was working on for a recital. There's a certain place in this piece where there's a nuance that Richter would give with his right hand or left hand, I don't remember which, but it was something very, very subtle. And Andrei was just curious about how he was doing that and the effect that it was getting on tone.
And it seemed to provide like endless source of fascination and possibility for him. So I can see why he's going after this new area of study with such enthusiasm.
So, and looking at another job,
Garrett. Like, the wedded life. You've lost your freedom, man. For a little while, can't sleep in Locko's room. Right, Dan? He said right. Can't sleep in. Yeah, but you have to go to a place like the kitchen. St. John's can't do this. To another man. But Garrett. Seriously. Say seriously. Seriously, Garrett.
On the one hand, you know, he's capable of this really fine playing, which took a tremendous amount of discipline and investment. And then on the other hand, you know, he can be as silly as you can possibly imagine.
Andrei brought silly string to church and was spraying people with it. And that night, I got back to my car at my apartment, and there was silly string all over my car with a little note on it on a piece of cardboard that said, "To Dan, love with a heart, Syndicat."
He's really silly, but he's not silly. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a goof. Like, he'll silly string your car. But, like, if you show up late, he's kind of pissed at you. He's almost like, you know how your mom can be really fun and crazy, like the zany mom? But as soon as you, like, she catches you smoking, like, it's not fun anymore. Now you're grounded. I think it's kind of like that.
Did he try to smoke?
Oh, yeah, he does smoke.
Andrei does? What's the matter with him? What is the matter with you, Andrei?
I'm not sure what this plant's called, but it's hollow inside, and it'd be perfect for stuffing tobacco in here. The section's not as good. See it? You could cut off at the end right here. Instead of breaking it, it'll make a nice clean cut. And then you can slide this section right out. So yeah, tried it, it's pretty good. Yeah. There's a lot of them. Endless.
Do you like being outside?
I love being outside. My favorite time to be outside, in any part of the year, winter or summer, whether it's cold or hot, is when the sky is absolutely clear. And there's not a single cloud. Like today, there isn't a single cloud. It's just absolute blue. I like open spaces. When it's absolute blue, I look at the sky, there's just the widest open space I've ever seen. I love hearing birds whenever I get a chance to hear birds. It's pretty rare, especially around here. I like the sound of the wind as well. During the winter, especially the snowstorms and the squalls and stuff, those sound really neat. But I hate sound of cars because we're in the middle of Peabody here. We're on top of a hill and all the sound of the cars just travels up.
There's no explaining it. Like, he is a paradox. He's weird.
Do you think he recognizes the paradoxes in his life?
No, he doesn't. Not at all.
It's just like these extremes that come together in this one person.
He's not afraid to test the boundaries and just not really apologize for it.
He didn't even hit my car. It was like right there.
I just took out that tree.
He's messing up the neighborhood. He's pretty careful until he got to that tree, and he just demolished it.